So this is gonna be another movie review. This one's called Altered States, 1980. This is gonna be another Don White recommended movie. It's William Hurt's film debut. William Hurt plays this mad scientist guy. I guess he's supposed to be a head shrinker. Teaches at Harvard. He meets this redhead. Who also is affiliated with Harvard somehow. I don't know. Whatever. Everybody's from Harvard in this movie. So they meet at this party where seems like everybody's smoking pot and listening to the Doors or some kind of weird Indian music. I can't tell the difference. I don't know. So it starts out before they meet. William Hurt is in this isolation chamber. It looks like he's going deep sea diving in this. I don't know, magician type of water tanks thing. It's very narrow and thin. It looks quite ridiculous in the beginning. And when I first heard William Hurt mumbling his inane lines, I thought, oh no, here we go again. This is going to be another crappy movie like Body Heat. But actually, his lack of acting skills kind of added to the realism that he was a crazy person. His mumbling and monotone and his fake emotional responses were kind of made it seem like he really was crazy after all. So they picked the perfect guy. Again, this is his first feature film before he got into Body Heat. And it was ironic too, because I was thinking about that right when somebody posted a comment on my Body Heat movie review. The guy says that wonders if I actually watched the movie. I guess he was expecting me to give it 5 out of 5 stars, but that's something that I do for movies that I like. I mean, watching movies is a subjective experience. You might enjoy it, but the person sitting next to you might hate it. That's just the way movies are. I'm sorry. Deal with it. Anyways, getting back to this particular movie, Altered States. I'm trying to eat dinner and do a movie review at the same time. I got all these cheese things. I'm starving, man. Anyways, getting back to the movie, Altered States. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 stars. I thought I was going to hate it at first when I saw William Hurt's acting, which reminded me of Body Heat. But like I said, it kind of blends well with the character, if you know what I mean. And the hallucination scenes are great. I'm going to post the Altered States hell in my description box. It even has a couple of frames that were used for the Godflesh Street Cleaner album. I used to blast that cassette in my Sony Walkman when I was walking around um, Seattle, downtown Seattle, looking for punk shows and stuff. Um, so I'll post Street Cleaner so you can watch Godflesh. If you don't know who they are, I'll post Street Cleaner in the description box as well. So that was kind of cool when I saw that. It reminded me of Godflesh, which is kind of funny. One of my favorite all-time bands. So he's like hallucinating in this isolation tank. He finds another tank at Harvard Medical School or somewhere in the basement there. I don't know. In Cambridge, Massachusetts, I guess. So he's conducting these experiments on himself. He ends up marrying the redhead, even though both of them are very reluctant about it, kind of nonchalant. Oh, we might get divorced 5 years from now after we have kids, but who cares? There's a lot of contradictions like that in this movie. For instance, he's an atheist. He believes in the theory of evolution, but he keeps having hallucinations about religious stuff. I don't know. I guess they're trying to say that schizophrenics are very religious. I guess there's some kind of hidden meaning there that you must be crazy if you're a religious person. But the director is definitely into Devo, I can tell, because later on he turns into an ape-man, and I'll try to explain how he gets there. Okay, just on a fluke, he decides to separate from his wife, go to Mexico while his wife is in Africa. She's a cultural anthropologist, I guess. So they keep having these inane, so-called egghead type conversations that don't make any sense, even to a rational person. For instance, they talk about chimps as if modern apes are the predecessors of Homo sapiens, which doesn't even fit in with the theory of evolution. So the director, the writer of this movie, is completely ignorant about science and religion, which kind of makes the movie all the more campy and cheesy, which is why I like it. It's one of those so bad that it's good type movies, if you know what I mean. So all the contradictions and inconsistencies aside, after they separate, he just on a fluke goes to Mexico to gather some magic mushroom soup mixed with his own blood from the Quetzalcoatl motherfuckers down there. And he starts having these weird hallucinations that gives him the idea to mix drugs with the isolation tank. And they even talk about similar movies. Enter the Void had that DMT drug. I think William Hurt actually uses the same damn drug. And even the shaman priest guy in Mexico even talks about going into the void or nothingness. So I guess Enter the Void is kind of a ripoff on this movie, Altered States, in that sense. Since it was made like, what, almost 30 years later, something like that. Um, yeah, I was 10 years old when this came out. I think my parents watched it, but my stepdad probably enjoyed it more than my mom. Um, Even though both of them went to see Devo play on Earth Day, I refused to go because I didn't like Earth Day. Earth Day in San Francisco. Anyways, getting back to the movie. So he devolves in this isolation tank while he's hallucinating. He devolves into this proto-human ape-man guy. He gets loose from the basement. He follows a wild pack of dogs. He hits and he ends up in the zoo. He hits this sheep in the head with a rock. Then he strangles the sheep and starts eating it raw, guts and blood all over the place. That was kind of unsettling. I can see why this is a rated R movie too, because there's a lot of nudity in this, namely William Hurt's behind and the redhead's ugly chest. So at this point, William Hurt is having an affair with his student, who's also white and not very attractive. So he starts like turning into the ape man in bed with some pretty cool convulsion type of transformations. The ending made absolutely no sense at all. I couldn't figure out the ending, but then again, this movie just keeps getting weirder and weirder to the point where it's just completely incomprehensible. Which is why I like it so much, by the way. I'm surprised that it's not in the Psychotronic movie guide, since it is an older movie from 1980 and it's a sci-fi flick. It reminded me of Bela Lugosi and the Ape Man, with that ape guy running around jumping on trees and stuff, creating mayhem. So, pretty cool flick. I guess it's kind of a mix of Enter the Void and the Ape Man. And yeah, I got really excited when I saw those Godflesh frames. That reminded me of when I was like 21. Mike Patton recommended the Street Cleaner because he said it was like a roller coaster ride. And then somewhere I read that they used the album cover. They used the Altered States frame for the album cover, and then I guess from their previous self-titled EP on Swordfish Records, they used frames from Seconds. The beginning where they have all the distorted faces. Seconds is my favorite movie of all time, by the way. So Godflesh definitely has good taste in movies anyway. I forget the name of the movie that they used for their Merciless EP, but I want to check that one out now. Maybe I can order it on Netflix or something. Yeah, I'll definitely put on my Netflix queue. Anyways, it's supposed to be a surreal type of movie. So that'd be pretty cool watching that if it's available. Um, Street Cleaner is Earache Records. Um, I bought the self-titled EP, their first release in Battle Creek, Michigan, back in what was it, 1991? I want to say, yeah, probably Thanksgiving 1991. When I was staying with the Calvinist family, there, spending Thanksgiving with them. That was pretty bizarre, man. I was there with my Chinese roommate, or my not my roommate, but he lived in my dorm. He got a full scholarship from China. They were doing these like underground Chinese church things way back in the early '90s. These missionaries would go to China, try to convert Chinese people into Calvinism, and they had these clandestine type of church services to avoid the government officials over there. So this movie brought back a lot of memories for me of the early '90s, even though it was made in 1980, because Godflesh, of course, took the album cover 9 or 10 years later. I thought I was going to lose my hearing after cranking that baby up full blast on my Sony Walkman. It's like listening to a Motorhead or an AC/DC concert. Anyways, highly recommended flick. Definitely check it out later.